Don't you absolutely hate rainy days like today? Especially if you have to drive in them and then you have to use your wipers because the water is just sitting still on your windshield? Well, we hate that too, and we're going to show you exactly what you need to do in order to make the water bead right off your windshield. So what's the solution to our problem? Well, we're going to show you 3 different methods on how to properly make your windshield bead. We're going to start off with a professional method, which is using a polisher. We're going to show you a DIY method, which is actually hand polishing. And we're going to show you the simplest option, which is just cleaning and then using ceramic obsession. So let's get into it. Let's start off with drying off our windshield, since it's, wet from all the rain. The first process is going to be utilizing a dual action polisher, rotary polisher, or even a drill brush with our foam attachment. Any of these tools will be used in conjunction with our windshield restorer. This will make sure that our windshield is nice and polished properly. With the windshield all dry, let's clean it off just a bit to get any top level grease off or any contaminants that are on here before we get into polishing. For this process, I'm going to do the most DIY friendly one, which is just using a drill brush. So this is basically just a 90-degree drill, which if you have a regular drill at home, you can get one of these attachments and Bob's your uncle. Let's apply the polishing compound, whatever one we decide to use. We're using our windshield restoration here, to the pad. This process is going to be very similar to actually our video on polishing and paint correcting a car, but we're just doing it on a windshield. So let's spread that goodness around and get to polishing. Just like polishing your car, work in small sections. So we're going to start off with this section here and work our way down. Once you're done polishing, you can grab your microfiber towel and buff the remaining stuff right off. Now with the windshield all polished and clean from the outside, don't look at the inside, we're going to apply this ceramic obsession to actually make it bead even more. Applying ceramic obsession, as we've said before, spray it on, and then wipe and buff off. Now that the windshield is all polished and ceramic coated, we're going to do a little bit of a water bead test. As you can see, the water is beading off very nicely. You technically should wait about 12 hours for the ceramic coating to fully cure, but in our case, we did it right away. The second process is hand polishing. For hand polishing, we're going to utilize a microfiber applicator or polishing pad, and either windshield polish or any type of polish will do. If you have cutting compound, finishing compound, or even polishing compound, you'll be able to get away with it. And finally, just a microfiber rake to clean up our mess. Just like the other process, the first step is always cleaning the windshield. So let's clean this one right up. The actual process of polishing is very similar. We're going to use the wax on, wax off method. Just put a few drops on our applicator pad right here. Then we're going to go ahead and apply it on the windshield. And like I said, that wax on, wax off method, circular motions are completely fine here. What this is allowing us to do is actually taking off any contamination by literally just rubbing it off. And that's why any polishing compound, cutting compound will do. Now that we've buffed and polished by hand, we're going to actually go ahead and just wipe everything off in that same circular motion as we did with the machine polish. With the windshield all polished up and ready, we can apply the ceramic obsession. We can then compare and see if our hand polishing is good enough as the machine polishing. We'll do that same bead test we did with that drop of water. So, as we did before, ceramic obsession, spray it on, and then buff off with the wax on, wax off method, top to bottom as usual. With the hand polishing method, let's see if it'll be as good as the machine polish. I'd say that's pretty comparable, almost the same. Probably not as good, but 90% there, I'd say. Now let's move on to process number 3, the easiest and simplest solution with a little twist. Process number 3 is the simplest of them all, as we're just gonna clean the windshield and then apply ceramic obsession. So for this process, we're actually just gonna use the Windex, spray it down, wipe it down with a cloth first, and then polish off. Oh, well, we're not gonna use that rag anymore. And with a second clean rag, we're actually gonna go and wipe down and polish off any remaining residue. That way, we'll ensure that the windshield is nice and clean and ready for ceramic obsession. For the Windex that you want to use, you can use one with ammonium because the ammonium will help it basically clean and evaporate a little bit quicker than the ones without it. Obviously, just don't breathe it in. After we let it sit for a second, we can go and start scrubbing it down. This Audi owner clearly has some tape from a recent windshield replacement, so this windshield will not be as dirty as your usual one will be. After that initial wipe down, we still have some streaks and residue left. That's why we have that second microfiber, so we can polish it all off and make sure it's nice and clean. No residue means the ceramic will adhere much better. With the windshield all cleaned and hand polished, at least with Windex, we can go ahead and put down the ceramic obsession. Same process, spray it down, and then wax on, wax off method. Should be pretty simple. For this one, we might actually use 2 different rags, as we've been using the same rag and it's getting kind of caked up with the ceramic obsession. So if need be, we'll grab a fresh rag to do the polishing component. As I mentioned, we are having a little bit of caking happening just with the other rag being already dirty. So here's a fresh rag, and then let's wipe down again. Make sure everything is off, nice and fresh. Wax on, wax off method as well.
Look at that shine.
Shinier than my teeth. Process number 3, water test. Simplest process. Here we might be cheating a little bit because this is a fresh windshield, but there's the beading. Not bad at all. To kind of get the best effect from ceramic obsession, you should let it cure overnight. So doing this water test, don't do it right away, do it overnight. Otherwise, in that area that you've done the water test, the hydrophobicity won't be as strong and as long lasting. So make sure to let it cure overnight and it'll be all good. A little bonus for you all is we're going to show you how to clean the inside of your windows as well. With the outside all clean, we want the inside clean as well, so when it's raining, we can have a clear view outside. Typically, you would think that using Windex would be the best solution, but sadly, Windex will leave a little bit of residue. That's what we want to avoid. The proper way to do it would be to grab a bucket of hot water and wipe down the window first. That way we can get any of the top level stuff off. Once we have that cleared, we can grab some dish soap so we can degrease the window. So we'll add it to our water, wipe down the window again, and then to finalize, we're just gonna grab another bucket of hot water, wipe down the window, and then dry it off. That way it'll be nice, clear, and there'll be no residue left over. Let's get into it. To start, let's get our just clean rag, put in some water, nice and hot. Make sure to wring it out so it's just nice and damp. We don't want it too wet because we don't want to cover the windshield with water. And just start wiping down the windshield from top to bottom, as always. When adding the dish soap, we want to make sure that the water is hot and we only add a drop or 2. Now with dish soap added to the water, same process, wipe down, and as you can see, once again, more stuff is coming off since the dish soap is doing its job. The hot water is actually what's key here because it actually allows the dish soap to react quicker with any of the grease, and also it doesn't stay in a spot. Cold water typically tends to basically be more stagnant, while hot water will evaporate or move quicker. Molecules are just moving quicker, hence it's easier and better to use hot water.
Science rules.
Now we just wipe it down with some hot water. Clear hot water, no more dish soap. We want to get any remaining dish soap out. So let's wipe down the whole thing before we go ahead and dry it. The hotter, the better. Just don't burn yourselves. I'm not responsible if you burn yourself. I almost burnt myself. I'm responsible for that. For the final step, we would recommend using a weave cloth. This will get any moisture left on the window. But you can get away with just using a regular microfiber. No need to go out of your way and get one of these, but we'll do the window half and half. Drying process, same as always, top to bottom. That side was done with the weave cloth. This side, we are completing with our regular microfiber towel. As you can see, whether we use the weave cloth or this cloth, it looks almost the same. The weave cloth might be a little bit cleaner, but for us, it's good enough. So, we still got to do the whole interior on this car, so that's a video coming very soon. Now that you've seen the process of how to properly clean your windows and make them bead like no tomorrow, you should be all set to drive in the rain or any other weather condition.
And yesterday.
So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Let's make sure your hard work does not go to waste. So pick up a bottle of Ceramic Obsession at partsavatar.ca for under $10. This will ensure that your polished windshield stays hydrophobic and keeps beading for a long time. So pick yours up today. Remember, Parts Avatar has got your back. So don't forget to subscribe to the Parts Avatar channel so you don't miss any of these exciting videos.